are an obvious development from the slide. A train of cars is pulled to the top of an incline and then let go, under the power of gravity alone, to ride over a series of hills and slopes until it runs out of energy. This is a wooden roller coaster. It's called the Beast, and though it uses a traditional design, it was in fact built only 7 years ago. Amongst the roller coaster fraternity, this is one of the world's best. It's certainly the fastest, 65 miles an hour in places, and it's the longest. The ride lasts 4 minutes. But where should you sit for the best ride? Well, it depends on what you want, but there are 2 rules that apply to all roller coasters. Sit in the front car and you will feel the highest G as you pull out of any slope, because then the train is going fastest. For instance, our 10-stoner will feel 30 stones. Sit in the back car and you'll get the biggest kick effect as you go over any summit, because the train is already accelerating away down the next slope. But though wooden roller coasters have a tremendous following, the combination of tubular steel and computer design has produced a new generation of rides. Rides that are almost as thrilling to look at as to go on. This is called the corkscrew, and that's exactly what it does. The best part of the ride lasts just over a minute, but what a minute. Brace yourself now, for you're about to experience it from the front seat. And that's it. Before you start, you have to put on the shoulder harness, or as they call it, the restrainer. Not that anybody can ride this ride. You have to be at least 4 feet tall. Below that, and the restrainer might be restraining the wrong places. If young Stephen is looking pleased, it's because this is the first time he's been accepted as tall enough for this run. Now for a few numbers. They're going at 47 miles an hour and they are pulling 3G, feeling 3 times heavier. At this speed, there's absolutely no danger of falling out. They're being pressed hard into their seats by the spinning forces as they go through the corkscrew. Again, the restrainers are there to stop you doing anything foolish, but they're also very reassuring to hang on to. Mind you, there's a lot more the designers can dream up if we're really after that ride of our lives. Mathematically, this curve is called a clothoid. The radius gets smaller as you go higher, and the designers think if you're looping, the clothoid gives you oomph. They call this the revolution.
You are about to experience the most thrilling and exciting ride of your life. Please secure all loose articles and clothing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But this ride has a kick. Just when you think you're through it, watch what happens.
A mind-blowing return journey, this time traveling backwards.
Each of these riders has just experienced being heavier than Big Daddy and lighter than Twiggy. How did it feel?
Incredible. Ideal transportation for an upside-down world.
Mind you, he's the owner. What next? Well, in Texas, they do it like this. They call it greased lightning. Unlike a slide, here you're fired off. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. As you hit that loop, the G-forces are the highest we've come across. Our 10-stoner will weigh 50 stones. A second later, he's down to 5 stones. No prizes for guessing what his stomach feels like. That firing means that even after looping, there is still enough energy for the front of the train to climb over 100 feet. Then it's back by gravity alone. The Texan entry for the ride of your life. And where else in the world can you go bigger and better than Texas? How about Kidderminster? This is a boomerang, because having been through all this, you return to the station by going through it all over again. Tony and Graham are riding first thing in the morning. Do they know what they're in for? The early morning rides on any thrill machine will feel different. The bearings on the wheels will not have warmed up, so the train will not move quite so fast. Also, as they are the only riders, the train will have a lower overall weight. When it's released, it won't gather quite as much speed on the downhill slope. There'll only be a few seconds in it, but what they lose in speed, they'll make up for by spending more time hanging upside down. How many times can a normal person ride something like this before feeling ill? Well, Tony and Graham are now halfway through their 4th trip. Tony on the left is looking decidedly off colour. If he could have got off now, he would. It wouldn't take much more of being upside down for it to be unpleasant, even on one ride. And no owner wants that. So where do the engineers go now for the big thrill? Well, one school of thought says, why not go back to first principles? Remember the playground. Why not combine all the thrills at once? Design a roller coaster that swings.